Good afternoon, everyone. This is Reverend Jin Hwa Jung. Today, I'm going to share about my lecture, which is Faith Guides number 1. So, I'm going to give you a lecture about how to maintain our faith with a true parent's word. So, please focus on this main PPT. How do you look at this picture? What kind of animal do you looks like? Some of you, it looks like a frog. But if I changed angle, and then you can see different type of the animal. How do you looks like? It looks like a horse. Okay, so how do you look at it? Someone say it looks like a rabbit, but if we twist this angle like this, it looks like a dog, right? Another quiz: how does she turn around? Right turn or left turn? You can see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, she going to turn. Oh, but yeah, this is a little technical problem. Uh, but yeah, can you see? She turning to left or turning to right? What do you think? This is a little difficult quiz. Some of you say, yeah, she's turning around the right side. But some say she's turning around the left side. But answer is she turning around the right side, she turning around the left side. So both of you are right, you are correct. The reason why I ask you about this quiz is each of you have a different idea, different opinions, different perspective view. Even in the way of the faith, there are a lot of different religions, such as Buddhist, Islamic, Christianity, Judaism, and Unification Church. Even they have a name of the different religion, but 90% their doctrine same as with the common ground each of the religions. So that's why we need to know how they are different, how they have a common ground about their doctrine, and you can doing interreligious faith, interreligious conference. As you know, True Father mentioned about faith. So I'd like to use True Father's word, conflict, mind and body. This is a 천성경 word. The human body and the conscience began to fight once they were placed under the rim of the Satan's law, within the devil's dominion, which stands opposed to the original mind. The critical issue is how to resolve this fight between our conscience, our body. Resolving the issue at the personal level, however, is not enough. Each of us must repair the global environment, which has been overtaken by satanic force. The environment should not contradict us. It should adjust to us. It should even follow us unless he accomplished correct order of the dominion. So this is Father's words. Father mentioned about in our life of the faith between mind and body, always we have a conflict. So how can we overcome this conflict between mind and body? This is the key point of the faith guidance. If you unite mind and body under the heavenly parents, then you are really a son of the God, daughter of the gods. That's why we need to discipline ourselves with the true parents' words. How can we overcome such a confliction between mind and body? So this is our assignment, how to overcome, how to solve the confliction between mind and body. This is 천성경, page 618, to Father's words. What do we take with us when we go to the spiritual world? Is it money? No. Is it our title as a Unification Church member? No. What do we have to do from now on? You have to create as many sons and daughters to whom God can bestow His love. But there is a limit as to how many children a person can give a birth. And anyone can do that. Even if you are district leader somewhere, you will go to the spiritual world as a penniless beggar if you do not have any spiritual sons and daughters. You would be impoverished because you are done. Heaven is a world eternal's theirs. We must have bridge of the love that connect us to each other. Those who have many spiritual sons and daughters will be able to move around freely in the spiritual world. So Father mentioned about what is essence of our things life of on earth. Father mentioned about we do not bring the money to the spiritual world. We do not bring our reputation, position in our organization. But how many spiritual children do you have? This is key point. Do you think to do witness, is it easy or is it difficult? It's not easy. If you want to witness someone, you invest your time, you invest your material things. When you go to the cafeteria restaurant with your target of the witnessing, you pay. And then you admire your target of the witness. So you need to invest your time, invest your material things on behalf of the God and true parents. This is a very, very important essence and then our assignment before we go to the spiritual world. So faith guidance, first we have to focus on the witnessing. That's why recently Shumada emphasized. Vertically, we have to liberate our ancestor liberation, ancestor blessing ceremony, 430 generation. Horizontally, we have to witness our relative, our friends, our neighborhood, 430 couples. When you fulfill this, your portion of responsibility as a travel messenger, you're done. You can go to the spiritual world without any obstacle, without any claim by Satan's and the Cain type people. This is a very, very important, our task. What do you think? What is a faith? What is the definition of the faith? According to the Father's word, the life of faith is looking for my true self. It is the way to find me without the original sin, like the position before the fall of Adam and Eve. Father mentioned about why we necessary of the faith because of the we are children of the fallen Adam and Eve. That's why still we have a fallen blood lineage in our body. How can we convert blood lineage from satanic blood lineage to the heavenly blood lineage? It is a blessing. Many of you already received the blessing under the benediction of the true parents. But this is a very spiritual things. This is a very internal things. But your real life of the on earth, your real character is still close to the fallen nature. Your lifestyle is very close to the secular life. That is why we need to change our real life, such as personal perfection, how to unite the mind and body under the guidance of the true parents' word. This is very important. So we need to discipline to unite mind and body. We need to discipline. We need to become the personal perfection under the true parents' guidance. And second thing, the way of faith is the way of the trying to serving God together and to integrate the daily life with the will of the heaven. So Father talk about the life of the faith is serving God. Whatever you do, you talk to report to God. For example, before you eating breakfast and lunch, you pray. Why you pray? You report to God. Thanks God, such a given food. Before I eat, please take this food, you first. When you go to the somewhere, you report. Let's go together, God. I'm going to meet someone. When you sleep, let's sleep, God, together. You can say like this kind of a life of the real life with a God. So this is very simple understanding guidance of the faith, but real practice is not easy. This is different. So whatever your understanding of the true parents' word, you need to practice. When you practice for the living for sake of others, for attending the providence of God, your spiritual life growing up little by little, one by one. Then finally you become oneness with God, Holy Spirit, divinity. Then your spiritual eyes open, your spiritual ears hear someone talk to you from the heaven, from the spiritual world. You communicate with the spiritual world. When you're done, when you practice every moment, every day for the living for sake of others. Faith life need a friend. I need comrades in my life of faith. A person who has no comrades is a lonely person. And if they have a comrade, a right to protect each other is created, and a path to overcome the difficult of the environment arise. Father talk about you need friends who are going to the way of the providential life. Sometimes we feel loneliness, sometimes we have a obstacle, sometimes there is many difficult things in the way of the faith life, of the providence. Then you need to advise from your friends. Then you can overcome obstacle, overcome any other problems. Next, if you believe God, you go beyond yourself. You go beyond the self-love and walk beyond your faith. Then you will never be invaded by Satan. Satan always they observe you when you become the selfish, when you really close to life of the secular way, then they are always observed to take your life to his sides, the satanic worlds. So that is why Father all the way emphasize sacrifice and sacrifice in the front line. But our life is very close to the secular life. Our environment of the secular world, they attract us. We are following of the secular life because they provide a very convenient life of the physical things. So that is why we need to discipline. Follow nature in our life. This is Father's word, 천상경 word. Habit formed over lifetime cannot be eliminated, even those you try until you die. Thus, it is logical to say that the habit and fallen nature that have been passed down over millions of years cannot be rooted out with the effort made over a few centuries. This is a serious issue. Father talk about habit formed is not easy to change. You need to really reform your lifestyle to eliminate your fallen nature. Otherwise, you cannot enter kingdom of heaven in the spiritual world. Father already knew. He had a lot of experience. So how can we overcome? How can we eradicate our fallen nature? This is our portion of responsibility. That is why we have to go to the Sunday service and listen to the Father's word. That is why we need to sacrifice. We need to follow the guidance of the true parents, such as witnessing 430 couple. It's not easy, but it is a sacrifice ourselves for the saving the people, our neighborhood, our relative, before they go to the spiritual world. So such a sacrifice life of the faith, life of the providence, it is close to the life of the way of the heaven. So Father mentioned about to change our bad habit and then to change our fallen nature, and then we get the heavenly habit, heavenly nature. That is why every morning we need to study about the true Father's words. When you understand the way of the guidance of the providence, when you will of the God, and then you can follow. Without understanding, you cannot attending God's providence. That is why first you understand how does it going on the providence of God. As you know, recently the corona disease they spread out all over the world. So WHO they declare pandemic, the coronavirus. So we need to be careful. Why suddenly coronavirus spread out? This is a very meaningful message from the heaven. All the people, we need to change our life. Our life close to the secular way. Our life of the close to materialism. As you know, the materialism, they're all the ways, small investing, that they're expecting huge extra profit. Such a selfish style, individual style, destroy the natural environment because they are all the factory they want to produce as a cheap things, and that they want to sell the expensive, that they are things, products, and they make money a lot. They doesn't care about the destructive of the environment of the world. This is a selfish. This is a materialism. That is why, coronavirus. They're warning to us, be careful. If you do not mind of the preserving natural environment of the world, you will have a big problem. Even you die quickly. This is a message from heaven. We practice our life of faith for sake of the other and sake of the God. You can see this picture. This small boy, he bowed to Buddha, and then he really prayed to Buddha about his life, about his wish. The truth is all the way is simple. They are doing the Gyeongbang or they are fasting, they do not eat. But they really observe their effort, their spiritual devotion without food. They pray. This is the fasting. Also real action. These two boys bring the poor village, and then they bring some how to say, this is a fear, kind of a fear, and then they really offer their effort to serving for the poor people. This is a model new leadership of the future. Faith needs 훈독해, but understand the will of God, as I mentioned. Faith needs 훈독해. 훈독해, this is 천상의 message. Tradition of the reading the word, which is the crystallization to true patterns, course in the providence of the restoration through indemnity, should become the central practice in each family, as well as in the church and at any gathering centered on the heaven. At the same time, we need to go forward in creating a new order on earth. This is 천상경 message. Also another word. Because of the educating our children is an urgent and important matter, you should begin each day in 훈독해 with your family. Up until now, you had no time to spend with your children because you are carrying out church work. From now on, you should begin your day together in 훈독해 with your children. Please begin your day this way. We need to educate and nurture our second generation. No matter your position, you need to think about generation to come. See, Father clearly mentioned about first, ignorance of the providence is not necessary. So we need to know first of how does God's providence is going on, and then same time, do not excuse you do not have a time with your children, but you must make a time to 훈독해 with your children, and then you need to stand up the traditional way of the faith with your children, which is the 훈독해 in the everyday. This is very important. The 천성경 word 훈독해 will connect you with another dimension. When you 훈독해, heaven and earth become one. The entire spiritual world descend and cooperate with you. Unless you do so, your life path will not open up and you will be unable to fulfill your goal. This is the reason you need to 훈독해 church, which is a family church. No family have been able to enter the heavenly kingdom. Even God did not have a family, since no family have been able to go to the heaven. I am saying there are no citizens of the kingdom of heaven. We must recognize all this. So when you do the hundoke, your ancestor come down to you. Your ancestor descend wherever you do hundoke. And then they listen, the guidance of the faith, the divine principle, to parents' guidance. Then their understanding. It is education to change your evil ancestor into the good ancestor. If they're really understanding about God's providence, if they really sacrifice themselves to helping the providence of God, and then they can enter the kingdom of heaven in the spiritual world because they already sacrificed their life in the spiritual world to helping their descendant to contribute to the providence of God. So this is very important. So when you're doing the hundoke, when you read the hundoke with the sound hundoke, in the space there are a lot of speed. Even now, there are a lot of speed. Listen, our hundoke. So hundoke is very important. When you're doing hundoke, spiritual world come down to you, and then they are listening your hundoke, and then they are gradually understands God's providence. I'd like to introduce this Arcangel family. As you can see, the left side of a little fat guy, his name is Arcangel. He's Brazilian. He's a previous marriage couple. Well, before he joined the church, he was the construction company. He was the chairman of the construction company. But when his construction company bankrupt, he drunk in the cafeteria, in the pubs. And when our fundraising member, he entered such a restaurant, and then he tried to sell it, the flower, but I kind of talked to her, why are you selling? What are you selling? I'm selling the flower. After selling the flower, what are you doing with this money? And then our church member explained about our dedication life, our full-time life for the providence of God. And then she invited Archangel to come to the church. Then he finally came to the church, and he took the 7-day workshop. And he completely changed his life. Then he became the family church leader in his hometown. Whenever he do in his church leadership activity in his hometown, all the way he read the divine principle, he doing the hundoke. Then 90 minutes, 1.5 hours with the sound hundoke. divine principle, 천성경, 평화경, 참부모경. Then he raised up the spiritual atmosphere in his house. Then many of the good, angels, walking with his family church activity. One time, one thing happens when he wake up at 4:30 early morning and he took the shower. He make it 경배정성, and he started at 5 o'clock on time with the divine principle. Then suddenly, the in front of his gate of door, he heard about knock. Excuse me, and then he's surprised. He never invites anyone in such an early morning. But he opened up his door, and then some woman stand up in front of his door, and then she explained, "Oh, I got the dreams. My grandfather appeared in my dream, and then he asked me to go to your neighbor. And then I came here. I heard about your boys. Can I ask you what are you doing here? And then do you know why my grandfather talked to me to come here?" And then Archangel, he's smiling, and then he invited her in the living room in the house. And then she explained about the resurrection, how ancestor come down to the descendant, and then he really bring to their descendant to the unification church. After reading of the resurrection of the divine principle, she joined church. So this is one of the sample. When you're doing the early morning hundoke, spiritual world, your ancestor walking home. And then this is a really example of the witnessing. Through the hundoke, Archangel, he witnessed neighborhood. So this is one of the sample. So reading of the hundoke spirit out the energy of the spiritual world. Then they are influence your neighbor, influence your relative, influence your friends. I'd like to share about the condition of the faith. First, we need to pray because still we are immature spiritually. Still our mind and body conflict. So our life still need to pray. So pray is a frequency by scientific way. I'd like to share about this book, Frequency. This book is a very scientific physics book. If you read and then you understand how energy exists, I'd like to read it, summation of this book. Every situation you have, all your thought and feeling about it is a signal of the success and intuition. A person who can interpret and utilize it properly get the key, the mastering the unlimited life. You are interconnected with the universe as an energy sphere with a unique frequency. Everything in this world is essentially energy chunk. The thought, feeling, and body that make up your being are also energetic and energetic. They emit unique frequency. So responsiveness is the ability to read the flow and the pattern of such energy in your inner and outer world, to receive the invisible information, to find the energy of the highest frequency and to blend with it. Our body are always responding to the vibrations around us, but we are not consciously aware of it. So this writer, the book of the title, write the frequency. Pierre Penis, she's the writer of this book. She is a scholar of the physics. So she emphasized all the way there are a lot of frequency going around in the space, in the real world. For example, in the human body, when you think, it is a different part of the frequency. So also feeling also too. So if you pray, and then also pray is a frequency. There are a lot of different frequency, FM or AM frequency, right? So when you pray, you sending the frequency to the God. When you think to someone, then you produce the frequency. Then this frequency touch the when you think of someone. So frequency is pray. So religious function is not anymore some superstition. It is a really scientist. is really scientist. So this is one of the scientific way of the praises, scientific way of the frequency. This is Father's words. If the human ancestor did not fall, humanity would not have need savior, religion, or prayer. Humankind need these things because they are fallen being. Because of the fall, we need to pray. This is Father said. If you do not fall, and if Adam and Eve do not fall, they are directly communicating with the God. So we don't need to pray. Next, prayer will be answered without faith. You receive the divine energy through prayer. If you pray, heaven will instruct you about the future. So Father emphasized, if you pray to God and you get the power energy from heaven, and then if you really pray to God, also this your pray dream come true. This Father mentioned. This is the order of the pray and the power of pray. When you pray, you must first pray for the nation. Then you must pray for the world and for the liberation of God. God is not happy place. Christians are oblivious to their mission, oblivious to what's happening in the world. Yet they pray, Lord, please send me to heaven. Father talk about there is an order of the prayer. You pray for your nation, world, and the liberation of God. This is first you pray priority. You do not pray your private things first, but you pray for the providence of God. You pray for the world providence and your nation, then your tribe, your church. Last, you pray your private things. Father's clearly said. Next. In the past, I used to pray for Ventry. Unification member was so mesmerized by my prayer that they refused to go home. Everyone was enchanted, man or woman, but it was not I who kept them inside the church. It was love. Father shared about his experience when he prayed each of the earlier member, and then the member when they are completed their company work, they do not come back home directly, but they just stop by church first. Then they want to see the Father. Then after that, they go back home. Because of the love, when you pray, you're sending your love to someone else. This is a really scientific way. This is really important. When you love your enemy, how can you love your enemy? This is first, you need to pray. Spiritual loving enemy is pray. This is very important. That's why Father, he prayed a lot to the Kim Il-sung. Even Kim Il-sung, long time ago, he tried to kill the father. But he prayed all the way Kim Il-sung for that. He already gave the spiritual energy, which is the love to the Kim Il-sung. When he met the Kim Il-sung in real life, and Kim Il-sung's mind really opened up. Even Kim Il-sung, he did not recognize why his mind is open up to the Father, because the Father already gave a lot of love of energy through prayer to the Kim Il-sung. This is very important condition. So before you real love to your enemy in the world, you need to pray. This is spiritual condition. Prayer of the member and others. When offering devotion to heaven, it is better you do it for each individual person. There is a world of the difference between offering devotion to heaven with a one group of people in mind and one individual in mind. Father, talk about when you pray, you focus on one by one. You don't need to pray to all the people worldwide. You make a target. I pray for